Meg Baker, you're chasing a story in Point Pleasant about a very small house. What do you got?
That's right. So behind me is a micro home. This is the start of a pilot program for micro housing for the homeless, similar to those built in the state of Washington and being considered around the nation. Now, I stepped into the mini unit to get the full experience. Units are 144 square feet and 8 feet by 18 feet. Step into the home, there's a small kitchen, there's a small refrigerator and a freezer, and there's cabinets underneath the sink. Next to the sink is one single bed. Right past the bedroom is a small bathroom with a toilet. Now, I spoke to Tom O'Malley, who has pitched this idea to Ocean County as an alternative to a homeless shelter.
It's economically sound, it's inexpensive to build, easy to manage, and it's taking off all over the country.
This structure only costs about $10,000 to build. That's, of course, not including plumbing and not including electricity.
$8.2 million will be spent in a budget this year for emergency housing. Now, that $8.2 million at the end of the year is gone. These units here, with some of those million, we can build hundreds of these for that kind of money. And these are forever. These will last 50 years the way they are built.
Of course, legislation would need to be changed in order to allow these types of homes to be built here in the Garden State. The initial plan calls for construction of about 15 of these micro units, which would be called the Dream Village. And it would be up to the host community as to where to build these.
What are they comparing the cost to? I mean, $10,000 sounds like a lot more money than you would spend for a bed in a shelter.
Well, let's put this in perspective. So New Jersey receives about $8 million in federal funding for emergency housing of homeless. Now, put that $8 million a year towards these houses that would last more than a year, would last over 50 years. You'd be saving taxpayers a lot of money. For instance, the people in Lakewood who were living in Tent City, now taxpayer money is going towards housing them in apartment units, in motels. That money could be spent towards something like these micro homes, which would last much longer.
My only concern with this is that I don't want people to spend taxpayer dollars to create poverty town. Like, I don't want you to have segregated areas where people now live in the poverty houses, which is essentially what they would be. But this movement towards micro housing is something really that's moving across the country. So if it was a diverse group of people who choose to live there and even have some subsidies, then I'm on board.
If you remove government money from it and then see how it flies, then I'd be interested. And maybe then you're subsidizing someone to get back on their feet. But this seems way too permanent.